Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching, whatever you're doing, man. Welcome to just a late night edition, man, of one-on-one with Cletus. Listen, if anybody knows me, man, my sports career didn't take off the way that I thought it was going to be. I started off probably around the third grade as one of the tallest kids in my class. Had dreams of making it to the NBA, and then I just stopped. I stopped right at 5'10". Realized it wasn't going to be for me. But basketball is best played one-on-one, I think, and I'm in a unique position to be one-on-one with some very fantastic people, man. And today is not unlike most of those days. So welcome to one-on-one with Cletus. Now, if anyone knows me, I'm a proud resident of what I believe is the jewel city of the state of Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia, man. I like to consider it the capital city. I'm sure some people in Richmond would disagree, but I believe it's one of the greatest cities in all of America, and if not just the whole world. And what I do is I care a lot about my city. I care about my city. I try to be an integral part of the things that are going on in my city. So, as we all know, November is vastly coming, man. It seems like we were just doing the ball drop. We're almost done with January. We're getting ready to prepare for Valentine's Day, which means that in Virginia, which is an albatross of sorts, it is a state that has elections every single year. Every year in Virginia, there's an election for something, somewhere. So you're voting every year. This year, no different. We do know that it's a presidential election, but we also have some city council seats that are available, school board seats, things of those natures. And I have always been a staunch proponent in believing that our local elections are our local elections are our most important, because your local elections are the elections that affect those things that happen to you in your everyday life. Yes, it's important who we have as president, but the president ain't setting your sales tax. The president is not taxing your house. Your president is not doing those kinds of things. So we want to make sure that our local elections are well attended and everyone gets out and votes. So I'm not a person who has a person that I am a proponent for. I'm on nobody's payroll. Nobody's paying me. None of those kinds of things. But I do care about my city and what's going on. And I want all voters to be informed voters. I think an informed voter is probably one of the most powerful things that we have. And how do we get informed? Well, there's forums. There's going to be debates, all kinds of great stuff. But I have an interesting opinion and opportunity to be able to talk to people in ways that you're not normally able to talk to them. And so that's what we're doing today. And I'm doing that as we talk to one of the individuals who will be running for mayor of the city of Portsmouth. She's currently sitting in a position of vice mayor, but she's one of my favorite people. And I've only met her. We've only sat and talked one time, but she's still made it to be one of my favorite people. And it is the Honorable Miss Lisa Lucas-Burke. So we're going to bring her in. We're going to talk to her. We're going to find out some things and help you be more informed as you get ready to go to the voting booth. So all we're going to ask you to do right now is the normal thing that you do. As you come in, start sharing the video. Tell somebody else, hey, look, listen, watch it. If you're on YouTube, you can share it on your YouTube. If you're on my Facebook page, share it from your Facebook page as well, so we can have as many people laying eyes on this amazing interview as possible. I'm not going to hold you long because I know it's dinner time out there for you all, but we want to make sure that we feed you this information. So without any further ado, one of the daughters of the city of Portsmouth, an amazing vice mayor and just a wonderful person in her own right. If you could please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Mrs. Lisa Lucas-Burke. How are you doing today, Mrs. Lucas-Burke?
I'm great, Cletus, and thank you for having me on your show tonight. I'm excited.
Man, I'm really excited, man. And so to be clear with some people, I'm gonna clear up a couple of things. Um, I welcome the opportunity for you to come on. I've given the opportunity to anybody who wants to come on, so they can reach out to me. This is not something that you were strong arming me to do, nothing of that nature. So I'm excited about that. And I want to kind of make sure that we let people know what this is. It's not necessarily an open house where people are talking about things that are currently going on in the city, because we've got a lot of things that are happening in the city. So we're not here to talk about those things specifically. But what we are here to talk about are the things that are pertaining to you potentially becoming the leader and mayor of this city. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, man. But I'm not gonna go and hit them off the head. I'm not Walter Cronkite. I'm not even Steve Harvey. I'm a different type of person. So I want to get into this. One of the things I love is, and I said this myself, I had never really sat down and had a personal conversation with you until very recently. And in doing so, I
You
was like,
froze.
yo, she is so cool.
Come back,
Like that was
please.
one of the things that I noticed. So just tell us about Lisa Lucas-Burke, the person. Tell us
Yeah.
about yourself.
Okay, that's easy. That's something I can do in my sleep. I am Lisa Lucas-Burke, currently Vice Mayor on this Portsmouth City Council. But I didn't just start right here. So I'll let you know where I did start. I'm a product of the Portsmouth public school system, where I went and attended Manor High School. Through ninth grade to the 12th grade, I was a member of the Mighty Marching Mustangs. I was in the band. I played the flute and the saxophone. My early learnings of learning how to play my instrument was at William E. Waters in the 8th grade. That's where we first learned our musical talents and learned how to craft our artistry in music. Attended Manor High School after William E. Waters, graduated from Manor High School in 1981. And
So
further,
let me stop you right there. So 1981 class,
class
man, I
A.
believe you graduated with my uncle. I believe my uncle Amaziah Cummins probably graduated with you. He's either
Okay,
80 or
yeah,
81.
I
Yep.
definitely do.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's my uncle.
Oh,
So let me first put that out there because Portsmouth is a very
we
there's
smart.
another school. There's
Yeah.
another school that people really like out there
Well,
in
well,
Portsmouth.
okay.
And they have a good strong alumni base, but we're not holding them against you, and we don't want them to hold that against you.
No,
But Manor High School is where you went. I personally thought that you were a Greyhound, but you are a Mighty Mustang.
okay, I'm a Mighty Mustang, and I tell
There
you,
you go.
band stole my heart because my brother went to Manor when it was the new school, and everybody wanted to go to the new school with the modular classrooms. And and I love Manor. I love red and white and black, and so those colors kind of draw to me. And it was my high school, and I'm proud of it today. I'm glad we reclaimed our name last year, and we're reclaiming our energy back with the Mustang pride. So. Attended there and was a involved student. Graduated in 81 and went to Norfolk State. Behold, the green and gold. Um,
Absolutely.
I majored in electronics engineering. I wanted to do something non-traditional for women and something that could make me a lot of money because I know that I needed stuff and I didn't want to have to depend on any parents or anybody else to be able to give that to me. So attended Norfolk State University, majored in electronics engineering, and I graduated in 1987. Some people are going to say, wait a minute, 81, 82, 83, 84. So some people are adding it up. But, those classes in physics and engineering and some of those aerodynamic classes kind of helped me back a little bit. But I wanted to make sure that I was proficient in my craft before I graduated. And I did work. I worked full time as well because I wanted stuff. So I worked while I went to college. So it kind of delayed my time on the classes that I took.
But it's not about the 4 year path, man. I think that however long it takes you, it's fine. I think that endures us to a lot of people because even now we see more and more non-traditional students who started their journey probably at 18, 19, might not have finished until they're 40, 45, or even older. So
Exactly.
taking 6 years is not that's not bad at all. Plus, it won't like you were taking advanced coloring. You would take
That's what I'm saying. And I also did during that time, I did do an internship at NASA. So I got to work at NASA Langley Research Base as an engineer's aide. And I thought I was just doing it then, working with
right.
engineers there and, learned some things and they working with the engineers and on the heat, the temperature that the wing of the space shuttle, how hot it could get before it would get to a point where it combust. And
Wow.
so that was an intern that I did. So I was not only working and getting my education, I was getting some internship skills as well. So
You are on Portsmouth hidden figure there. But
I got a little bit of that going on, and I like a long math problem. I like one of the ones where you have to read the problem and then add in equations and values and variables and all of that stuff. That's my work right there, and I think
nice.
that's where I got the analytical side of me from. So.
Nice. So high school in Portsmouth, went to Norfolk State. I'm pretty much following in your footsteps. I went to Manor, but and then so I started at Wilson and I went to Manor, then Manor became Wilson. There was a whole lot
Yeah,
going on
see,
with
same
me and
same
all of those
path,
schools.
same path. But
So
Good
I'm
path.
still there. And then I went to Norfolk State following.
Absolutely.
So what got us into, and I want to get into just you as a person. Let's just ask just some weird stuff. Musical choices. What's your favorite genre of music?
Oh gosh, I'm a Jill Scott. I love Beyonce. And here lately, now that I done turned my new 60, I'm kind of liking like 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg and all of that. It's just, I mean, I'm well rounded. I mean, I'm not just
Really?
stuck in one area. And I even like some country music. I like Blake Shelton.
Oh man, Blake is
Strawberry
awesome.
Wine and all of that. That's I'm just a music buff because I was in the band and we had to
Okay,
learn how to play everything because I was under
gotcha.
Teddy Richardson at first, and then we got Miss Googler. And so, those were two very different teaching styles and exactly cultural styles. But I learned to love all kinds of music. I'm in there. I'm in there. I understand. I like some of the oldies but goodies. Otis Redding and of course our Tina Turner and Gladys Knight and of course Aretha Franklin. So I just like all kind of music. I haven't heard anything that will run me out of a room. And not
Nice.
unless it's too hard, too hard.
Just eclectic with your musical style. So now
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question real quick, and then we're gonna get into it. I love bringing people on and kind of lightening the room a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you this one real quick. This is a question that I can always tell a lot about a person. Favorite cereal?
Oh my God, you crazy? Okay, and my sister said, "Oh my God, you crazy?" Because I like Fruity Pebbles and I like Cocoa Pebbles and I like Pops, the sugar Pops.
See
So
that Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles, I can't get one because as soon as the milk hit them, instant soggy.
and
Like
that's
you
what I
you
want.
gotta.
Even with the soggy, I let it sit 5 more minutes to get it extra soggy. So
Oh no,
yeah, I just like to slide right.
it just became a sponge at that point. I
Yes,
might
I
I
love it. I love it.
I might have. I hope I didn't. I might have froze. You're still good, and I know they can still hear me.
Yes.
I always keep a backup though in case something happens.
Okay.
So it's nothing crazy. If you're just tuning in, I am here with the illustrious Vice Mayor of the city of Portsmouth, Miss Lisa Lucas-Burke. I'm having a slight technical difficulty, but she's still right here and still going strong. I'm going to really quickly make a quick change, and it won't take long at all. Before I get it all together here, let me enter the studio one more time for everybody. They're gonna be seeing the real me. Now they can see I'm in my kitchen. I was in here making dinner. My son is actually home. The weather's got him going crazy, so I had to make him some homemade soup. So I've been in the kitchen, working in the kitchen. But I'm back. Thank you so much, Ms. Lucas-Burke. You never left. I froze up. You
Okay.
never left.
All
So
good.
let's get into some of the stuff that we're actually here to talk about today, and that is you are currently sitting as the vice mayor of the city of Portsmouth.
I am.
However, this election cycle, you're actually going to be running for mayor of the city of Portsmouth.
Yes.
Um, if elected, it'll be a historic moment for the city of Portsmouth because you would be the first Black woman to sit in that position, which is amazing. It's one of those things that's amazing, but at the same time, we're in 2024. It's sad that we're still having the first Black anything
Exactly.
in, in
Yes.
2024. But what led you to believe this was your time to run for mayor? Because if I'm not mistaken, if you're not elected as mayor, you will no longer be on the city council.
And that's exactly correct. And that was one of the things that I had to really come to grips with, because my city council seat is up December 31st, 2024. So at the end of this year, I would have had to have run for mayor or city council, and I chose to run for mayor. And that thought didn't come easily. I did have to deliberate on it. I had to meditate on it because my community had been vetting me or recruiting me for over a year. They had said that our city needs a new change. We need someone who can help to stabilize the council and change the projectile future for Portsmouth, whatever that may look like for us. And I had to come to grips that is this something that I want? Because I had in my mind that I was going to run for city council, but I had some strong leaders in the community who had asked me that, we think that you is what the city needs to move us to the next level. And once I sat down and I thought about it, because at first I didn't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because I had my mother's campaign last year, and I said I didn't want to talk about anything until her June primary was over, until her November general election was done, and she had won, and she was going to be president pro tempore of the Virginia Senate again, and she was going to be chair of finance and appropriations. So once all of that was behind me, then I could think. And I said, don't ask me anything until after I have my turkey for Thanksgiving. So Turkey Day was done. I meditated. I spoke with family. I got settled in my heart, and then I started thinking about the things. So why should I be mayor? Why now for me? And when I realized that I was born and raised here, I'm the longest tenured person on the council, other than Mr. Councilman Bill Moody, who's been on there for 24 years. He's served 7 terms. And, other than him, I'm the longest serving council member. So I've seen some stuff. I've done some stuff. I've served as vice mayor twice. I'm a member of the Virginia First Cities, where I'm the chair. And we lobby our General Assembly for legislation that will affect 17 cities similar to Portsmouth, who are stricken with, landlocked areas and just impoverished communities, and not enough funding to support everything that we would need to do. And I just, this stuff is in my heart. And when the calm came over me that, Lisa, if you run for mayor and you don't win, you go home. If you run for council, you'll win and you'll be back in, but it's going to be the same that we've had for the last 8 years that you've been on the council. So a calm came over me, and I said, this is my time. This is my year. And I was so comfortable with it. And I said, let's go. When I made up that in my mind, and the decision came over me that it was time, it was no stopping me, no turning back.
That's such a. I know you saw 2 me's for a second. Like, what's happening? That's such an interesting perspective, because to have it, because the conventional wisdom I think a lot of people have is a bird in the hand beats 2 in the bush. And you have a seat. And I believe last time that you actually had to run in an election, I believe you were probably the highest vote getter in your seat for city council.
I was. In 2016, I was the top vote getter. In 2020, I was second top vote getter.
So right there at the top each time.
Yes,
so
yes.
Almost, I'm not saying that anything is guaranteed, especially in politics, but you pretty much could say if running that same course, you would probably make sure you get in there as city council seat. So this mayor seat is a big jump for you, a large leap of faith.
It is.
What do you see yourself? So before we get to this, I want to make sure we're clear on this, because you brought her into this situation. I was trying to kind of stay away from it, but you did mention your mother, yes, who is the amazing Senator Louise Lucas. And we all know she's a polarizer figure. If nobody knows her, she's the 60-year-old woman with the boxing gloves in her last campaign. She was out there knocking them out in her last campaign. And people have opinions of her on both ends. It's very polarizing. And some would say, well, Lisa's running, she's just going to be an extension of her mom. And I heard you even say, man, I wanted to make sure my mom's campaign was out of the way before I made a decision. What are the, and your mom has done amazing things. I think if we actually look back at even her seat, I think even from a historical, whether you agree with her voting or her anything, just the fact that she's been a Black woman to be able to get to the rise to where she is, especially at the time where she started, because she didn't start now when Black women is no longer taboo to even have Black women in politics. She started at a time where she was going to be the fly in the milk. politically
Exactly.
to get where she was. So her strength in just that is amazing. But let me ask you this: what are they saying? You are not an extension of your mother, correct? You're Lisa is Lisa, Louise is Louise. Am I correct in saying that?
You are absolutely correct in saying that because we are two different individuals. Even though I was raised in the house with her and she is my role model, of course, you couldn't even live in the Lucas house without being involved in some extension of politics or some extension of community service or some extension of public service. So it is what we learned early and is what we learned in our heart to do naturally. So all of those things that I learned from my mother, I grew into my own passion, being a member of Portsmouth Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, is where I learned my public service work because we were advocating in the community for things that our community needed. And we were advocating for legislation that would help our communities. And so I learned that as something that I did with a passion. And when it came time to run for a city local office, elected position, it was natural for me to do that because I had already been doing that in my community work as a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, as a chair on the Girls Inc. board, where we did before and after school programs for youth. And when I wanted to get further into the community involvement, I applied for a boards and commission and was appointed by the city council in 2010 to serve on the Economic Development Authority. So I served on that commission from 2010. And in 2012, I was appointed a vice chair by the commission, and then served 2 years as chair of the Economic Development Authority. So I knew what kind of things that this city needed to have. We had our Harbor Vista apartments to come up. We had our Kroger Marketplace to come up. And it was because when I got married in 2000 to Herbert Burke from Virginia Beach, and we lived in Virginia Beach for 14 years, I saw Ruth Chris, I saw Bravos, I saw Cheesecake Factory, I saw, all of these things, Bahama Mama, all of this entertainment and eatery and just shopping, the Lynn Haven Mall and Macy's and Dillard's and all of that. And I said, well, what's going on in my city? Honey, I got to move from out of Virginia Beach. We had just had a brand new house built up from the ground up in Bentley Park. And we bought that house in 2000. I said, we got to move back to Portsmouth because I got to make sure we get some things done in Portsmouth. We can't be the last standing city. And you got me around because I wasn't seeing anything getting done. And so that's why I applied for boards and commission and was appointed to the Economic Development Authority. And so, I wanted to see more action. And that's when I ran for city council the first time in 2016 and was the top vote getter out of 10 people in the race, where one of them was an incumbent. So I was doing my thing naturally, and I did have name recognition. The name recognition wasn't bad because it was a Lucas brand. But right. I had the passion, I had the energy, I had the knowledge to be able to apply what I had learned in my public service and my community service works to my elected office ability. And when I ran, it was no skin loss for me because I said, if I win, I win, I'm in. And if I don't, then I can just go back to doing my public service, which is near and dear and natural for me to do anyway. So I went in with, a clear mind and a strong heart, and people just fell in love with it. And I said, you know my mom, but I want you to get to know me. And so a lot of people got to know me for who I am. And we do have some slight differences between our political style, but a lot of that that I believe in has come from the foundation that I got from my mother.
So what I'm picking up from what you just told me, first of all, you've been in this for quite a while.
Yes.
Doing it. This is not something that
just started this rodeo yesterday.
Right. And I'm listening to you tell me you left a built home in Virginia Beach to move here. So yes. You came here on purpose with purpose.
I absolutely did.
That's just that in itself is applaudable because we see so many times people leave Portsmouth and don't come back to help. The fact that you said no, I'm coming back and drug your husband on over here,
scratching and crying because Virginia Beach is his home. So we did keep that house from 2000 to 2016 until I ran for council, and we found a house here in 2008. So we rented our house out for 8 years to make sure that this was something that I want to do. And then we finally sold our Virginia Beach house in 2016. But I'm here, I'm back. I never left Portsmouth because my business is in Portsmouth. So my heart has always been right here serving in Portsmouth. So I've never left Portsmouth. Even when we lived in Virginia Beach, I worked in Portsmouth until he retired from, still incorporated after 27 years, and then he came to join the family business here as well, which we have been doing for 25 years, serving our community right here in Portsmouth.
So what I'm picking up is husbands, you going where your wife tell you to go.
Oh yeah.
You think you
He's
getting
a
ready to
great
stay out
guy.
the
You
TV.
got to meet
You
Mr. Burke.
going.
He's an Eagles fan, and he's his passion is for his wife and her
There it
career
is.
aspirations. Yes.
There it is. And soggy cereal, apparently. All right,
Exactly.
so the election's in November, and let's say everything goes your way, you're elected as mayor. What do you see your role as mayor as?
My role as mayor, and I have just a few priorities that I think that will help get our ship moving in the right direction again. The first is going to be to stabilize the city council. So the thing is that people need to know that there are 4 seats that are up in November. It's the mayoral seat, where myself and right now Shannon Glover will be running for mayor. And we have both have already turned in our petitions and our paperwork and our documents and our statements of organization to file as a candidate. So right now he's number 1 on the ballot and I'm number 2. But God says the number 1, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And that's where I'm going on that with. So we're both on the ballot. Don't know who else would join this race. They have until June 5th, I believe it is, to file their paperwork to say that they're going to run. And then there are also 3 seats up on the Portsmouth City Council. So it'll be my seat, Dr. Mark Whitaker's seat, and DeAndre Bond's seat. So those 3 seats are up. And see, it is real critical or is important to the community now that I'm not running for city council. People feel like it frees up a seat because they felt like if I had ran for city council, there would only been 2 seats that have been up for grabs. So now that my seat is up, Dr. Whitaker's seat, and also DeAndre Barnes' seat is up. So that's what people will have to go and vote for in November. So it is critical that we get the right team elected with me to serve, because I do plan to stabilize the city council so that we don't have all of this contention that we have, all of this backbiting, all of this non-trust, all of this, and I think it's just, a combination of who we had serving together that created this, chaos is what people are seeing it as.
And I will see there has been baby steps in the stabilization of council. So you want to go ahead and it's trying to cement what has happened, because we haven't been as foolish as it has been in the past. But I do think that there have been some amazing steps made, and you've been a big part of that by being vice mayor. And I think that you have a part of that. So you say you want to stabilize council. What else would you see your role as being?
Yeah, well, it's a major issue that people are concerned about is addressing the crime and gun violence that is going on, not only in just our city, it's a nationwide issue, but we have legislators in our state legislation and in our federal legislation, who can help send down funding for us to be able to create some training programs, or just some pilot opportunities for people to come in and learn about gun violence, or put in some programs that will give our youth some other opportunities to address their attention or their interest, so that the gun violence can finally decrease. We know it's going to always be with us, just like the things that we have with everyday life. But we can do something to address it in a better way, put in more programs, put in more opportunities, provide job opportunities for people, because, and provide housing opportunities, because people are cramped up and they have nowhere to live. They have no place to go and make money, and they have no place to be able to release their energies through recreation or other opportunities. Then they're going to resort it to something that's unfavorable for our communities. And that's what we want to address. One other thing that I want to definitely do with my term as mayor is support our educational programs. Our Portsmouth Public Schools want to bring in career and technical education program. And because everyone's not going to be able to go to college like you and I did, Cletus. Everyone is not going to want it as an option, and they're not going to be able to afford it with an option now, as the way the rise in cost of getting a college education is. And some people are just going to be that skill, that career and technical education, and it maybe their course that they go to be able to get immediate funding to be able to support their families right off the bat. And one last thing that I can definitely put on the table is to develop our waterfront. Because when I first came on the city council, I was a little naive. I said, when I get on the city council, we're going to build out the waterfront. Like, you're going to jump on the city council today, and then tomorrow you're going to have a brand new waterfront. But didn't realize it takes time. It takes developers, it takes bidders, it takes the right people, whether it's through an RFP process or whether it is an unsolicited proposal, whatever we have to do to attract a strong financial backing, minority supported developer to our city that will develop our waterfront into something amazing, that will attract visitors and our local residents downtown, and even share some recreational opportunities back and forth with our water friends across the water at Waterside. So we need to create something that gives people a reason to want to come to Portsmouth. We already have one reason. It's at Rivers Casino, and we love that. And we'll talk about that at some other point or segment during the segment or in another.
Yeah, we definitely will. So I'll say this. I've been a big proponent. I'm a common sense guy. One of my favorite lines comes from a movie when Denzel Washington says, "Break it down to me like I'm 4 years old." I love telling people that, man, when people are getting complicated, I'm like, listen, break this thing down to me like I'm 4 years old. And I've never understood the best area of our city is our waterfront. And who has the best view of the city is the jail. I'm like, sometimes I feel like getting locked up just so I can have a beautiful view.
Well, you ain't gonna get a front view in there, but
right. In a utopia, in a perfect world, you're a mayor, and in a perfect world, what do you see happening in the waterfront? You say you want to develop it. What are the things that you would look for, that you would try to address and have happen in that area?
Well, I guess first we would need another hotel, because we do have, if we're first talking about bringing people here, we would need some place for them to house. We don't want them to come here for all of these eateries and shops or entertainment venues or whatever, and then they have no place to stay. As soon as they come and enjoy the amenity, then they have to haul hind pots over across the water or to some other city for lodging. So we do need another hotel, and I think that we have our Renaissance, and it has been a great staple in our community for lodging. But anytime any event, Norcom Greyhound is our rival city, or rival school, have an event that's large enough, like their grand reunion, people have to go to another city for their lodging. So I would like to see us to have a developer first to build a nice hotel, something like the Portsmouth Maine or a Hilton brand, because our Renaissance is a Marriott brand. And so, when you give people choices, I don't like a Marriott, I like a Hilton, or I like whatever it is. So give them a choice. They can stay at the Renaissance Marriott, or they can stay at the Portsmouth Hilton, or whatever.
Man, that'd be great, man. And even though I have a house here, I'd probably go stay at the Hilton downtown. Nothing scandalous though. No scandal. I'd be down there on my own.
And so just sometimes you need a retreat, just something to get away, somewhere you could go and have a nice meal and go and meditate or read a book uninterrupted.
Where my kids ain't at. Somewhere where my kids ain't.
Exactly.
Y'all stay there. I'm going.
Girlfriends get away. So
that works
for me.
Right. So you have that. So you would love to see a hotel down there. One of the things that I think that we lack, and we have some amazing grassroots places that are already downtown. We have our Roger Brown's, the book club is there.
Yes.
A lot of Lob Scouts is one of my favorite places to go for lunch. Griffs, Longboards, all of those. I know I can't name all of the restaurants down there, but we don't have right now the large attraction restaurants and things of that nature down there. Great local restaurants, but when you put we don't have a name recognition restaurant that everybody can just look up and say, oh, Guy Fieri's down there. I'm just throwing out a name. I know his didn't make it in Norfolk, but so eateries and entertainment. We have the amphitheater down there. Are there any plans? Would you see us doing more with the amphitheater than what we do now, or maybe a concert series?
I do. And our amphitheater is kind of like for our springtime, summertime events, and that's
because it's outdoors
type of venue, but we need something that's going to attract people all throughout the season as well. So after we get a hotel built in, I would like to see some other venues created in there. And I know that housing stock, that's one of the other things that's on my list, because we need to improve and increase our housing stock so that people don't have to travel back and forth through the tunnel. I know that our great senator, is working on a deal with our good Virginia governor to reduce or relieve those tolls. But if people have more housing on this side of the water, then they will be prone to do more things on this side of the water. If they have housing options, if they have recreational options, if they have eatery options, if they have job opportunities, then that increases them their ability to be able to stay on this side of the water. So developing, some kind of, where you want that waterfront view, is not the jail, but they built some condos on the water, because a lot of our seniors moved to places on the Norfolk side because they were able to get that high rise apartment view on the water, and I think that would be another opportunity. Housing upstairs, shops downstairs.
And I think Cletus's Comedy Club on the water will be great, but we'll talk about that another time. We'll talk about that. So again, and I'm talking utopian, just visions, and I think that the Bible even says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Right. Under your leadership, man, 5-10 years down the road, where do you see our city progressing?
I see us as a top premier city in this Hampton Roads area. I think it's going to be places where people are running to be a part of, because we're right here in the heart of Portsmouth. And I think Portsmouth has that untapped potential because of our landlocked. 40% of our land we can't even tax. And I remember being in a think group with a gentleman, some council members from Chesapeake and Virginia Beach with Joe Rubin, and we were working on a deal. And I said, hey, did y'all see the movie Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, Trading Places? I said, so think about that. I said, so you're in Virginia Beach and you're Chesapeake. You have all of this land and all of this opportunity and all of this ability to generate revenue for your city. And you're doing this and you're building that and you're getting developers from here and you're getting, taxable income from there. You're getting revenue from this stream. I said, so trade places with Portsmouth and take our budget and we take yours for 60 days and see what you do. So you're going to go in and you're going to say, hey, we need a developer to build out this place right here on the corner, da-da-da-da-da. Then you go to your budget, you'll be like, oh, snap, it ain't there. Oh, we need this developer to come in because we need a new grocery store right here. Oh, budget, not there. So this is Portsmouth, because 40% of our land mass, we can't generate any revenue from it. So we're having to deal with a budget that is only built pretty primarily on real estate taxes. And we had one of the highest real estate taxes, but we were able to temporarily reduce it by 5 cents last year because of the revenue that had been generated from the casino. So we didn't know what that was going to look like long term. I know everybody saw what the Rivers Casino made this year and what the city got this year, last year for 2023, $15 million. So, we do want to plan something that's going to be a solid revenue or real estate decrease for our citizens. And so that's going to be 5 cents off of our books that we won't have to include in our budget, but we are getting money from the casino. So we have some room to pad it on the back end with that other amounts.
So my daughters got friends who live in other cities. Okay. And they call this the Las Vegas of Virginia because we had a casino. What do you already see as one of the benefits? Because we had a lot of people, just to be honest, I mean, everybody didn't want the casino. Right. And me being a lifetime resident of Portsmouth, I know that your mom has been a proponent of the casino. It seemed like before I could walk, she would talk about casinos. I was getting my money up to shoot dice. But even as a young child, what do you say are the pros, the positives of us getting the casino already? And you said $15 million in revenue from the casino from the city. So we see that financial windfall. But what other things do you think we have benefited from by having a casino?
I think it has benefited a little bit of unity, because when you inside of that casino, for one, you'd be like, wait, this is like on the Wizard of Oz. Am I still in Portsmouth? Right. Yes, we absolutely are. And we have nice restaurants there. We have Admiral Seafood and Steak. and you have an amazing meal there. And then they've added the yard house, and it is a great opportunity. It's a great avenue for people to go and join up with their friends or groups and just have a good meal. And then it's just an opportunity for people to de-stress. We had the sound bar. They have our local band, so we're getting to see some of the bands that we like to see on our Sunset Thursdays. But that's only in the summertime, so we're able to see them now inside and support them through their musical talents. And we're also able to see shows come here. We saw Cool in the Gang show last week, and it was the Cool in the Gang show. We had a really good time, and I just like everybody getting along, all races of people, all diverse groups of people right there side by side, enjoying a space right here in Portsmouth. And I tell you, Rivers Casino Group with the Rush Street, they got it right, and they got it right here in Portsmouth. We should be the model of what every other casino looks like in our region.
And I love it. I actually go to the casino quite a bit, man. I don't gamble. 99% of the time I don't gamble, but I do love to go people watch. I enjoy the bands,
Yes.
all of those amazing things, man. And actually, for a person who's a Portsmouth person, it's also a great place because you end up running into people you haven't seen in forever.
Right.
And you see them in that social environment, man. So it's almost like a homecoming each time you go down there because you're going to run into somebody that you haven't seen in quite a while. So all of those things really help. So I think it has been a great jewel. So now with the onset of the casino, once the casino came in, and I believe one of the numbers that I saw was about 35% of the jobs at the casino went to residents of Portsmouth.
Yes.
What do you believe, or for you, and I heard you talk about how you've been so involved in economical development. What do you think would be a plan to get better careers here in the Portsmouth region? And even the better paying jobs. And jobs are great, but
Yes.
the careers are really what help us. Because usually with a job, you make the money for that day.
Yes.
You make the money for that week, that check. But usually with a career, not only are you making your money that you get every 2 weeks, but you're getting health insurance, you're getting a retirement, you're getting
Right.
those benefits that'll be able to sustain you even after you finish working.
That's
So
exactly.
do we have any plans to bring more careers to the area? And I know y'all always are looking for jobs. Our workforce development is amazing. But what about some careers here? Is that something that you will be looking to do as mayor?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Because we have, I know you've heard about our innovation district that's going to be on High Street. And it is from our Old Town district down to our MLK Highway freeway.
Okay.
So it's that portion of land where you drive through, and right now it's looking kind of, so we plan to bring in some housing opportunities there. We're bringing in a maker space where people like you could come in, or people who have some creative ideas and they don't want to get a whole brick and mortar building, but they can come in with their business idea and create that space there. Speaking healthcare, we want to bring a healthcare option. Right now, we don't have an urgent care facility in Portsmouth. If you spring your pinky, or if you got COVID, or if you feel like you got some kind of rash that somebody need to look at, you either have to go to Maryview or
That's a
Full Fledged
rash.
Hospital, whatever it is that you need. We don't have anywhere where you can go to an urgent care facility.
No patient first type.
No
No
patient
type.
first, and that's what we need, and that's going to bring those kind of career jobs. That is going to be that benefit, that healthcare benefit, that insurance, and those are the career jobs that help you take care of your family. You mentioned just a job where you have a job for a day and it's just a paycheck for the month, and you get a W-2 at the end of the year, and then you go on to something else. But those career jobs are what feeds families, because those are the ones that give you your health care benefits. Those are the ones that you're able to fund your children if they want to go to a higher educational path. So bringing in healthcare, bringing in more housing, bringing in an innovative district that is going to bring healthcare and jobs and public art, because everybody is not technical. Everything is not going to be STEM. There are going to be some art opportunities where people want to be fashion designers, or people want to be those person that do graphic arts and make cartoons and things like that, or create tennis shoes, or artful T-shirts and jackets and things like that. So we need to be innovative in our thought pattern, innovative in our creative pattern, and just be more forthcoming with all of our citizens. And it shouldn't be lopsided. It shouldn't be just one set of people that get this opportunity. It should be open up to all of our citizens, because we did have our disparity study, and it showed that only 1% of minorities get any of the job opportunities or the RFP opportunities or the development opportunities, and we need to change that pathway as well to something that's going to be more fair and equitable for minorities, women, men, Black and brown people, Asian, to get into this market.
So let me just ask you this, and this is a tough question, but I know you have it
I can
in you
handle
to
it.
answer it.
So go ahead.
Anybody looking can see. Anybody looking knows you're a Black woman, right?
Yes.
And we already know that Portsmouth is really a minority, is a majority minority city, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken.
Right.
Cultural breakdown. So you will have detractors who say, "Well, Lisa Lucas-Burke is only for Black people." Is that a true statement? No, yes, no. How would you answer somebody who's saying, "Oh, man, she ain't gonna do nothing but care about Black people"?
I would say you're a bald-faced lie because I have plenty of white people calling me every day, and I don't have a problem talking to white people. As a matter of fact, I received a great percentage of the white community's vote when I ran for city council in 2016, and not much of my mission has changed since then. I know I have some people who know me candidly as a person, and I know that there's some people who don't know me, and they might be relating what they know about me to the monument, but they need to really get to know Lisa Lucas-Burke, because one thing they know for sure is I'm fair and I'm honest. So you talk to me, you bring me an issue. If it's something that we don't like, we're gonna fix it. I just think that those who do not know me have really never had that opportunity to sit across a table from me like you and I did for almost 2.5 hours.
It did get a little lengthy, but it was such
the
a
conversation got so good, So I challenge anybody to think or who believe that they don't know me, or if they think that I'm just a one-sided person for my community, then I challenge them to get to know me.
and to be fair, I didn't come to you because of that. That wasn't why I came to you. I came to you and we discussed what we were talking because we had not had that conversation. And I don't like people. Believe it or not, there are so many things that fly out about me. One thing about Portsmouth, I tell people in Portsmouth, you have to tell your story, because if you don't, people will tell a story for you.
Sure
And
will.
so it's much easier to tell your own story. So I say, let me come and we're going to talk this thing out, and she's going to know exactly where I sit, and I'll hopefully learn exactly where she sits at the same time. But at the end of the day, you'll be able to respect that this is exactly who I am. And you came in, no pretense. She greeted me with a hug. When I exited, she exited with a hug. It was really like sitting down with her aunties, and just she was like, let me tell you what I got going on. It was very comfortable. It was a very good experience. So I can definitely say that you were not, and you talked to me honestly about everything that we had going on. So we did discuss crime.
Right.
Crime is a big thing nationwide, and it's very big in Portsmouth. Now, one murder is too many. One homicide is too many.
Absolutely.
No matter, you never want anybody to lose their life, but our numbers are ebbing and flowing. We've been able to get them down as far as the homicides are concerned, but they're still happening. One is too many. Crime is a big thing in Portsmouth. What do you think would be one of the forefront methods that you could do as council? Because council, people always say, why council ain't stopping crime? Because they not Batman. You can't,
Right.
you can't put up the Lisa Lucas-Burke symbol and she come in and stop all crime. That's not what council does. But what do you think the things are that you could do as mayor and leader of the council that can help our crime rate here in Portsmouth?
I think we need to get back having honest and open conversations with our civic leagues. We have civic league meetings, and I had asked the city manager, before the other two city managers, before that last one. So I've had 6 city managers. So we had something that was called the civic league conglomerate, because the council don't get to hear what are the concerns of some of our civic leagues, because we're in council meeting, or we're in a special call meeting, or we're attending some event that somebody wants you to show up at because you are the elected leader for the city. So I think that we need to have a meeting with our civic leagues, and come up with the issues that are impacting your community. So if it's crime on the corner of blah 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 blah, or if it is housing structures on at the block, whatever block of this,
Right. The
if it's
blight.
no police presence or no whatever it is, bring it to us so that we can appropriately address what your concerns are, because we don't get to go to all of the civic needs. If we went to every civic league and every city council meeting and every other thing that we would want to do, we wouldn't have any time left in the day. And this is supposed to only be a part-time position, but I'm like, part-time my foot. People think the meeting, being an elected person is just Tuesday, second and fourth Tuesday. No, brother, man, it's more than second and fourth Tuesday. It's 12 o'clock on Wednesday. It's 1 o'clock on a Thursday. It's 6 o'clock on a Monday, and it's all of that. And we're happy to do it because we're serving.
So let me clear something up about that as well. You're not getting rich on city council.
You're not getting rich on city council. The city council pays, and I'll go ahead and tell you, $23,000 a year for a city council member, $25,000 a year for mayor. And by the time
so you're getting the big bucks if you make it the mayor. Then
I can get rich with that, right? But
that's an extra $2,000.
You have to be in this position.
Not to disparage anybody, because we still have a lot of people who work very hard and make $23,000, $25,000 a year. But we're just letting them know this is not something that you get in for the money.
That's exactly it. You got to have passion in your heart to want to do this, to serve all of these hours for the pay that we get. And it is a passion position. So you're doing it for the service. And I guess that's why they keep it at that, because if they would raise it, then we'd probably have people scratching the eyeballs out of each other to try to get those seats and everything.
Well, there's people scratching eyeballs out just for that, even for the 23 to 25. That could take care of my lunch for the week. So right. let me ask you this. So we did talk about crime. We did talk about the waterfront. One of the biggest things that we have on our waterfront is related to crime, and that's the jail.
Yes.
As the mayor, what would be your position on the current jail? Would we like to move it, stay there, build a new one? We've heard talks about the Hampton Roads Regional Jail, which is, I believe, closing, us taking over that. What would be your stance?
So my stance would be we should have a city council that's going to be able to work in concert with our sheriff, because our sheriff runs the jail. So, if the sheriff's not at the table, we shouldn't be having a conversation, because there's a missing link in there. So if we have, with our sheriff, knowing, what his complement of deputies is, needed to effectively run the jail, and whether it is, I know it's not going to be on the waterfront. That's been needed, been gone. Been needed, been gone. So, and right there with the Hampton Roads Regional Jail, they are closing. That's no secret. It has been public knowledge for some time now. So April 1st is when the jail is supposed to close. What that means is that all the inmates that are currently in the Hampton Roads Regional Jail will go back to the 5 prospective localities: Portsmouth, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Hampton, and Newport News. So all of the inmates that are in those spaces at
they'll return back to their city jail,
go right back to their home localities. So whether we build a new jail, and we don't know what that figure looks like right now. Some years ago, it was somewhere around $45 million. I think it's somewhere now $60 million a year or so ago. And next year, by the time we make up our mind, if we want to build a new one, it could be somewhere $75 to $90,000 million. So occupying the Hampton Roads Regional Jail might be a fix for us right now to move in there at this point, until we can think about what our council look like, and think about what our management look like, and get all of the other revenue that's being built through our casino, gaming, entertainment district, and whatever else we need to develop out there to increase and improve our entertainment district. And by the way, the casino is going to be building their own hotel, and the city is looking to build a hotel. So in addition to our waterfront hotel, we would have some other amenities for people to choose for housing when they're choosing to come to Portsmouth to game and eat and recreate.
That's going to be great. So last 2 questions, because I didn't want to keep you here, but I know your time.
Yes.
Is money. So, and some of this stuff just kind of came up organically through our talking. So you say the hotel, the city's looking to build a hotel, the casino's looking to build a hotel. A hot button issue right now is the Airbnbs in the city. if you're elected mayor, and even right now, what is your stance on these Airbnbs? Because I
Yeah,
think it's
well,
a great form of
people
revenue,
should be
but
allowed to have Airbnbs because it's another opportunity for people to have housing. Not even if you're just here for a night or a day, a week or whatever the need is. It provides another level of housing that we currently do not have. And I don't think that we need to go in and dibble and dabble with some policy on what our Airbnb. I don't think Portsmouth need to have a rule, and Chesapeake has a rule, and Virginia Beach has a rule. I think it needs to be a state rule. So Virginia, if you having an Airbnb in Virginia, this is what the rules need to be. So I think that that needs to come from a level higher than the local level. So somewhere at the state level need to make those determinations on what is and is not allowed in Airbnb spaces.
and I'm like a real journalist. I'm been here taking notes, writing stuff down.
Yes.
There's stuff coming in as we're talking.
Okay.
Um, One of the things about crime is the number of police officers. I've been looking over, just doing some research myself. At one point in time, Virginia Beach was over 100 officers short. Norfolk, I still think, is over that 100 officer, or 75% of their jobs weren't. It was a ridiculous amount. And Portsmouth currently has a shortage of police officers.
Yes.
What would you and I know that you are a proponent of our police chief, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. I am
Okay.
strong component of our chief. I think he's doing an amazing job, and we need to support him with every effort of inch of funding and support that we can.
And what do we think about? I know he would lead that charge because you guys are not, again, not police officers. I love what you said about with the jail. Any conversation about the jail, we need to have the sheriff at the table because he's the one dealing with the jail. What about trying to get us more police? Because we definitely have a shortage of police officers.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm glad you said that about our sheriff being the conversation at the table. And just like when we talking about crime or our crime commission, our police chief needs to be at that table as well because his department is the one leading the charge with that. And I think should be the CEO, leading any efforts on our crime commission, on us addressing issues that we don't, because we're not police officers, we're not sworn officers, we're not out there on the front line when the crime or violence issues happen. So in concert with those crime conversations and commissions and task force and forums and whatever, I think our chief of police needs to be at that table. And of course, I support our police officers, and I believe that working with our legislators at the state level, there may be an opportunity for us to get some funding to help address those, to be able to bring in some specialists or, just some opportunities for people to learn more about crime issues and how it affects our communities, and even just parents, just getting a little bit more education on your children and gun safety or whatever the conversation looks like, or whatever it needs to be on the table to help us to address crime and gun violence.
I think the biggest, and a lot of people don't want to take that accountability, but I do think, me personally, that our first step, it starts at home.
Yes.
All of our crime prevention starts at home, and that's not necessarily saying that people aren't raising their kids correctly. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But a
Right.
lot of it starts at home, and it starts with solving some of the problems that people are seeing within their homes, whether
Yes.
it is a lack of funding. Because I do know that there are kids who have turned to lives of crime because they want to help support
Their
their
family.
mama or
Right.
daddy. They want to help support their family. I was speaking to an educator who was telling me, and it blew my mind, that the truancy rate in the high schools was bad, but it's not just because kids are skipping school. We have a high number of kids who are working,
Yes.
and they've decided, I'm dropping out of high school after my sophomore year to start working. So what do we, because they have to help support their family. So I think when I say it starts in the households, all of our crime starts in our households, and there's something that's there that leads to the outside. So we want to try to prevent that spillage.
Yeah,
That was just
definitely do. We definitely need to, find out what's going on in the homes and see if we can support it. Because the thing is that the children need supports. The children don't need to be adults in the ninth grade, in the 10th grade, because they want to look good. They want to have sneakers, or they want to have that hoodie, or they want to be able to just be able to buy a decent lunch one day, without having to skip a lunch one day. So these are opportunities that the children shouldn't have to be addressing. So if we work with our school systems to find out where those areas are, because some of the teachers, some of the educators, that's why they're so stressed out, because they're seeing what's happening. I had an educator who said that, yay, it's going to be snowing next week on Wednesday and Thursday, and we're not going to be at school. And then the kids started crying. And she said, wait a minute, why are you crying? We're going to be out Wednesday and Thursday. She said, well, when we out Wednesday and Thursday, I'm not eating Wednesday and Thursday. So
And
I'm
a
not
lot of
getting
people didn't
food
see
on
that.
Wednesday and Thursday. So when we start to see where those issues are, we need to set up opportunities where we can help address why are you not eating on Wednesday and Thursday when it's snowing in the city of Portsmouth.
Man,
So
that's crazy.
yeah.
This has been amazing, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out, man, and reaching out to get out there and do that, man. Shannon said she loves the dialogue, even though she doesn't reside at Portsmouth. She loves the city, and I think we all love Portsmouth. That was one of the things that I picked up from talking to you. And I know just the 1 hour, and we had an hour and 32 seconds, so I'm gonna let you go. I don't think 1 hour was enough to encompass it all, but I think we did a great job of encompassing what was going on, man. So I thank you so much for coming on. So before we go, I'm gonna just turn it on to you, and you just tell people why they should vote for Lisa Lucas-Burke.
Yes, well, thank you for this opportunity. I didn't know what to expect when I first came on the show, but I am grateful. I am thankful for this space and time to be able to reach out to my citizens. I'm a people person. I'm homegrown. I am from Portsmouth. I've lived here all of my adult life, and I am 60 years old. I'm not ashamed to say that, because I think we look good, we look fine, all of that stuff, and it's my time. I think it's time for.
You don't look a day over 52.
Don't look a day over 59, right? But I believe that, I have the skill set, I have the background, I have the education, I have the community service, I have the public service, I have the energy, I have the desire. You have to want to do this, because it just like in our conversation today, it takes your time. It takes time away from your household. It takes time away from your job. It takes time away from your families to be able to go. And I think I have the passion in my heart to want to make Portsmouth a better place to live, to work, and to recreate. And I think that I've seen enough opportunities, other things that have happened in our city where I believe that we have room for improvement. And I think with changing this leadership to Lisa Lucas-Burke as your next mayor will help to guide us into a direction that's going to move us forward. I think our citizens are looking for something new. I've been on a lot of boards and commissions throughout the city of Portsmouth, and I've also been on some throughout the state of Virginia, through our Virginia First cities, where we advocate for cities like Portsmouth to have better opportunities for housing, and of course our development funds, and of course our housing stock. I'm a member of the Virginia Municipal League, where we lobby our Virginia legislators and the Virginia General Assembly to ensure that we get the appropriate funding to address our infrastructure needs, and to address our school needs, and to be able to help with our budgets. And when we had money through our opera funds, where we allocated those funds to the community to help our communities to become a better place. I think I've learned some things along the way. I've served on city council for 7 years, 7 years and 1 month, and I have the rest of this year to complete my term as a city council member, as the vice mayor of the city of Portsmouth. And I think that I have the passion to serve as your next mayor, because it takes a passion. It takes someone who's going to be honest with our citizens. And I think I have been that. I think I'm the type of person that I can sit and talk with anybody. And if I hadn't had an opportunity to meet you, I hope that we get to make that approach in the very near future. I will be campaigning for mayor, and I'm going in serious. I'm going in strong. And it's not something that's against the other guy. It's just that I believe that I bring a different equation to the table to make our Portsmouth shine. I have the connections with our Virginia legislators that will get us the funding that we need to make Portsmouth a better place to live, work, and recreate. I believe the supporters in the community just want to see something different. I've had people to come to me and ask for help with their trash cans, and help with their housing, and help with their water bills, and I just jump right on it, and I just jump in, because I want to see people have a better lifestyle, and a better opportunity, and a better, brighter future in Portsmouth. And I believe that once I'm elected as your mayor, you will start to see things to change. because I can apply those skills that I have learned and those that working with people. I think that, bringing civility back to our council will be something that will be crucial in moving us forward, because right now we're on the table with determining who is going to be our next permanent city manager, and we currently have an interim city assessor, and we just need to get things stabilized in Portsmouth first with our city council and with our city management, and then that city manager can go in and get more persons hired where we're needed in the city to get the things done. We have our broadband that's needed to be addressed, and we're on the forefront with that, with our 5 member localities across the Hampton Roads region. We need to be able to give people better opportunities for access to internet, so that their children can have opportunities to be able to search online to get school projects done, or to get knowledge and resource and information done. Working with our schools through their CTE programs, because like we said, everyone is not going to want to go to college, or everyone's not going to have the funding to want to go to college. So working with our school board and our superintendent of schools to make sure that their estimate of needs is adequate to fund everything that they need to get done through our school systems. And then supporting our public safety through our police, our fire, and our sheriff departments is going to be instrumental, making sure that we have enough public safety officers on the street to address the needs. We have an issue right now with the crime that's happening in our community, because people are afraid to come forth. So we need to be able to work with our Commonwealth Attorney's Office to make sure that their victim witness programs and their witness protection programs are funded, so that they can put people where they need to be, or protect people in other localities or other states when the need comes for them to identify who's the causers of all of this crime. And any program that we can have that's going to be a crime intervening with crime, that's definitely going to be a needed plus. I'm a past member of the Economic Development Authority. That's where I served on my first board and commission in the city of Portsmouth in 2010. And I saw different things that the city needed, and that the city needed to bring, and the opportunities to be able to just give our citizens something different than what they've always had. We've had Town Mall for the longest part of my lifespan, and then Mid City, but now we've replaced them with a brand new Kroger marketplace, and we have new apartments that are of high quality, Harbor Vista apartments right there at the marina, and then to be able to develop our waterfront so that we can attract more citizens and visitors to the city. I think that's going to be instrumental, and I think that's what's going to need to take us forth. So me serving as your next mayor will be what I think our city needs to be a better place to live, to work, and to recreate. Cletus, are you there?
You got me with the recreate, man. When I grew up, the song was simple. Portsmouth is for people, all types of people, a good place to live, work, and play. And you done hit recreate on us.
Recreate,
So,
yes, we recreate.
Because Lisa Lucas-Burke don't play.
I don't play. I'm serious about my work. I'm like Erica Badu now.
Yeah, she's standing on business. Thank you so much for being here. Just some important dates on voting before you get off, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again as we get closer to November. But let us know just some important dates. The deadline, of course, I know you said for all.
If you're going to file to run for mayor or city council is June 5th. So you will have to have all your paperwork into the registrar's office by June 5th, I believe it is. Check with the registrar to make sure that those dates are accurate. And then sometime after that, probably in August, we'll have early voting will begin. So people will be able to early vote. And then, of course, November 5th, 2024 is election day in the city and the nation. It'll be the local elections. It's also going to be the congressional elections. Our congressional persons who serve in Congress will be on the ballot. And then, of course, it's a presidential election. So presidential candidates. And one plug I want to add in, you'll have to vote in the primary if you're going to vote in the primary, or the Democratic primary or the Republican primary. You have until March 5th to get your candidate on the ballot for the presidential election.
Oh, let me get that done too.
Out there. So have somebody else to talk about that. March 5th is when you have to vote in the primary to get the presidential candidate of your choice on the ballot. So if we
sure
don't go out
yep.
and get your presidential candidate on the ballot of your choice, then somebody else, my name might be up there in November when you go if you don't get them on there.
See if I can get my name on there for president. I'll run for president.
Yes.
Anything else I ain't running for.
Get a right in for Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, that's it. So real quick before you go, and really before you go, I'm letting you go for real. How do people reach out to you if they want to help with your campaign? I understand that these campaigns are run financially. If they want to be a financial sponsor of your campaign, or if they just want to know more about the Lisa Lucas-Burke phenomenon.
Yes. And right now we have my IT guy John Brim is working on my website. But right now they can reach out to me on 757-397-8200. That's my office number. And they can reach out to me at llburke@lucaslodge.com. You should be able to see that. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Lisa Lucas-Burke page. I will have a Lisa Lucas-Burke for mayor page coming up real soon, but my Lisa Lucas-Burke for city council page is still up because I am still on the Portsmouth City Council. You can reach out to me there, or you can just reach out to Lisa Lucas-Burke on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter X, and I'm also on Instagram.
llburke@lucaslodge.com, correct?
That's correct. That's me.
See, look at me. I'm out here learning how to type. Y'all can find her there, man. and all forms of social media. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day.
It went so fast. I didn't know I had so much to say. I think I have more to say, but I know we're out of time. So
I know. We don't want to hold the people up, man. It's whatever night it is. It's Tuesday. They gotta watch Grey's Anatomy or something. But thank you. We can always come back, man. That's one of the things I learned as an entertainer. Always leave them wanting more. So that always works.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You all have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to talking to anyone at any time coming up soon.
There it is. That was Miss Lisa Lucas-Burke, candidate for mayor of the great city of Portsmouth. Man, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share this, man, and reach out, man. I just want to do my part and be the best I can for my city, man. So thank you. Now, if you want to follow me, of course, it's on any form of social media. It's at Cletus Comedy, CLETUS Comedy. You can catch me every morning right here on this platform, 7:30 a.m. for my show. See You in the Morning, where I talk about any and everything. That's a good time. It's a good time in the morning. You just never. Sometimes it's even done in my pajamas. So tune in and check that out. And we'll have a good time. Until next time, man, remember, make somebody feel good today, even if that somebody just happens to be you. Until next time, peace.